Today on Game and Watch It, it's time to jump up in the air. Jump up. Don't be scared. Jump up and your cares will soar away. And if the dark clouds start to swirl, don't fear, don't shed a tear, because I'll be your one-up girl.
What the fuck?
Hello and welcome to another episode of Game and Watch It. I am your host, Rusty, and these are my two pals, Paulie and Arzy.
Hey.
Howdy.
How you guys doing today?
Okay.
We're not hungover.
Totally
We're not
hungover.
Totally not.
Alcohol is the devil.
Okay, so what are you playing? No, seriously, what are you playing?
Me, right now? Actually, I started Wolfenstein The New Order, or A New Order, or whatever it's called. The first one. I wanted to get the story down before I played 2.
Yeah.
So I'm playing it. It's cool. It's just, I feel like it didn't age that well. Like, I don't know how to explain it properly. It feels kind of...
Like, is it from a visual perspective or gameplay perspective?
Neither really. It's like level design perspective.
Oh, okay.
And like thought behind stuff. There's a certain point in the game where like you have to go into a Nazi complex.
Okay.
Right? And you go in there with the pickup truck. You like don't make it through the checkpoint and you have to go kill everybody.
Yeah.
But then the level actually starts and there is a pickup truck in the middle of the entrance with its headlights on and the engine running, and then random soldiers just like walking by and like not doing a thing, and you can still go in and like stealth them. It's really weird.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like no foresight in that.
Yeah.
And then you move through and do it in another section and it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's very fun. The bosses are awesome, especially when you fight like the big robotic guys. But I don't know. It's just I'm not having that much fun with it. I don't know.
Are you excited? Are you still going to play part 2?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at the end of the day, I heard they fixed a lot of potential problems in part 2. It's very, very good gameplay-wise, so I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay.
I just wanted to get the story behind it.
Yeah.
That
Should have
is-
watched like a YouTube video if it's like, because it sounds like it's ruining your Wolfenstein experience.
Yeah, but the story's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
heard. That's
It's
why.
like it is really good. Like you essentially start off the game in almost like a Normandy-esque type fight. You like storm a beach with a plane, mind you, not boats, but whatever.
Yeah.
Storm the beach, get into the trenches, get into a hideout to take out some like Nazi scientist higher up guy.
Okay.
And then you just, I don't want to get any spoilers, but essentially you leave the place with a wound of sorts, puts you in a mental asylum,
Yeah.
and then you stay there until the 1960s.
Okay.
And the Nazis have already won the war.
Yeah.
So it's from that point forward where like, you know, the story really starts to develop. But even at that point, like the way they use the cinematography of like the first person area and use that to their advantage to show like the time passing while he's in the asylum, it was really, really well done.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that and I'm playing Doom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your early impressions of Doom?
And what are you playing it on?
PS4.
How is it? Like,
Oh, it plays really well.
Yeah.
You guys are way on point with the sensitivity. Holy
Yes.
shit.
it's twitchy.
It's really twitchy. I haven't adjusted it yet. I'm trying to like potentially get used to it. I'm just worried that it's going to be a lot of the same when it comes to like the setting and the enemies and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm
Is it?
maybe about an hour in.
Well, yes, to say what I'm playing. So I finished Doom, or at least I finished through the story mode. I got majority of the collectibles. If I didn't have Skyrim on the back burner that I was itching to play, I probably would have gone a second pass and got all the collectibles and stuff. But there is some variance, but it is the standard Doom formula. The environments may mildly change. Well, I'll say there's maybe like 2 major environments in the entire game.
Okay.
But that being like, it's always the just get to the end of the level, more or less. Like get to the checkpoints. You may find a key card or something similar to a key card along the way.
Yeah.
More enemy types get released as the game goes on. Altogether, it's a lot of hectic, just breakneck fun. But I was getting burnt out of it towards the end of it.
I'm already starting to feel that, and I'm only like an hour in. Like, I feel like Destiny kind of ruined me for first-person shooters because I know I've been like, jerking off all over that game for a while now, but like, my God, it changed my perception of first-person shooters.
Yeah.
How well they play, how well a story can be implemented, the type of worlds that you can explore. Like, there's so much variance in the game, and then you jump into something like Doom, and it's just a little, I don't know,
Janky.
monotonic.
I would never call Doom janky. I was going to say, from a gameplay perspective, it's very, very slick.
It is,
like especially with when you start getting the heavier weapons towards the end of the game, and you really like what I think I love about the game is that it still harkens back to the original Doom game. Though it was gruesome and it was brutal, it was never trying to be scary. Like there's no jump scares in it, and even though you're fighting these absolutely horrible, terrifying looking demons, you're never afraid other than like just getting killed because you're losing. Like you are as scary as they are. You know that you are scarier.
Yeah,
with the weapons you have, with the skills you have, and like the Doom guy is particularly brutal in this game.
It's kind of the reason why BioShock 2 kind of failed. Yeah. In a sense, it's like it's that exact reason. You're playing as a Big Daddy.
Big Daddy, yeah.
Yeah, you're playing as a Big Daddy instead of playing as just like some random guy with plasmid. So the whole like survival horror aspect of the first game was completely taken away.
Yeah,
but which works well with Doom.
Yes, well, because Doom, I think that's the intent from the start. Whereas BioShock 2, I think it was just like a flaw in tone because it was something that BioShock 1 had, and BioShock 2 tried to keep that creepy, haunting aesthetics. But it's hard to be afraid when you have a Gatling gun within your first. I don't know, like I think it's with the first 15 minutes of play or something like that. Yeah. Like altogether. So no, I have some beefs with the port. And I've been noticing a chronic problem with Switch games that there's sound tearing issues.
Sound tearing, really?
I don't know. Maybe that's not the right word for it. But for example, Stardew Valley, every so often the sound would start to distort in a way as if you have the speakers up way too loud. I thought it was a hardware issue at first, and it only resolves itself if you exit the software and restart it.
I've never experienced that before.
That happened.
Stardew Valley?
No, but I mean, I've played a bunch of games.
But that was like the developers knew that and they patched it.
Yeah. But then I'm starting to see similar stuff with Doom. Doom, like I would have every so often I'd hear like, and then the sound would just cut off from the game. And sometimes it would come back, sometimes it wouldn't.
Weird.
Sometimes if I was in a firefight, the music would stop for a second or two and then come back in again. Lots of sound errors. And even Skyrim, that I did catch one time that the sound just kind of cut out briefly.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if this is just like a problem with ports, because I haven't experienced anything like this with first-party titles.
Actually, I'm experiencing that with Animal Crossing on my Pocket Camp. The sound turns off and you got to restart it to get it back on.
But are you sure it's not a hardware issue with you though?
Why would it be a hard issue?
Well, because you're running a pretty old phone.
No, it's SE. It's like after the 6S.
Yeah.
Anyways, to close the loop on Doom, anyways, I still think it's an amazing achievement that they managed to squeeze that much of game onto the Switch, considering like the hardware limitations, let's call them. In the end, like, if I was talking about achievement alone, being able to get that game on there, I might have given it a higher rating. But for me, like I would say, like in general, I'd give it a B at the end of the day. Like I really enjoyed the game. I liked it for what it was. I knew the experience I was getting out of it. But between just the odd technical difficulties, and for me, it just kind of got samey between the end. I think those are the parts where it kind of falls flat a little bit.
Yeah, that's again, I'm already starting to feel that on that. It's odd with Skyrim that you're going to see those issues though, because I mean the game was made for last gen. That should be something that should be able to run on the Switch, no problem.
Well, I don't think it's a direct port of the original version. I think we're graphically, because I could tell that there's been graphical upgrades since playing vanilla. Because I haven't touched Skyrim since vanilla game on Xbox 360. Like no patches, no DLC. So all that stuff is new to me. Yeah. But I am noticing a graphical upgrade. I don't think it's quite at the same level as the what is it? The collector's edition, the one that came out for
the remaster.
Yeah, for the remaster. I don't think it's quite there, but it's somewhere in between. Okay. I've only had one game-ending crash so far.
Okay, fair enough.
The game already?
No, game ending.
Game ending. As like
Like
Yeah,
game breaking
crash.
crash.
Game breaking, okay.
That happened once, but I quick save liberally as the game has rapidly trained me to do after dying in some very stupid ways. But overall, it's just delightful. I miss Skyrim so much. I like just going around and murking people, and I'm just like a lightning wizard going in from places and just like Emperor Palpatine just lightning people to death, and they're like they're wailing on me with their swords, and I'm just like die, die.
Cute.
Yeah, I got to try it. I'm gonna get it soon. I've actually never played vanilla properly, so
Yeah.
I got to jump on that ASAP.
Yeah, I might borrow it from you when you're done with it later on.
Oh, I'll never be done.
Never be done. Fair enough.
400 hours.
Yeah, pretty much. If you want to do it.
How about you, Rusty? What have
you
been
playing?
So I've been playing a lot of Mario Odyssey, but we're actually going to get into that after the break, and we're going to do a nice spoiler cast. So beware spoilers.
Yep.
But actually, I'm actually not going to talk about what I've been playing, and I'm going to talk about an event that I recently went to, held at OCAD University. The developers of Cuphead, actually not the developers. It turned out to be a key animator,
Yep.
a sculpture artist,
Nice.
and the background painter.
Oh, nice.
So all of them
Wow.
were there. The background painter, she is from OCAD, and she's a graduate, fresh out of school. The developer studio MK, I don't know their name.
Wow.
Bunch of letters put together. But yeah, she came right out of OCAD, and they hired her, and she did all the watercolor backgrounds and everything.
That's awesome. Little
Yeah.
piece of Toronto in that game, eh?
And the sculpture artist is also from Toronto.
That's awesome.
So the studio is in Saskatchewan, and they use Basecamp. It's like an online project building tool, and they have artists in LA, Vancouver, Toronto. So everybody's working remotely from all over North America.
That's awesome.
It was very interesting to see the process of how it was made. The lady, she was like the lead animator.
Yep.
So she did all the animations, all the character designs, and it was just cool seeing the process. The two brothers, that's the creators of the game, they would ask her to create like a lobster with like he's like a pirate guy, and she would send all like a
Concept arts?
100 pieces of concept art, and she showed them all. And I have pictures on my phone, so hopefully we can get them up right now.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting to see her process and the keyframes. It was more of like an art show as opposed to a game show.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was that sounds a lot different than what I was expecting.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then they had the sculpture guy from Toronto, and there's a boss battle, the Egyptian boss battle.
Yep.
So when you're playing the game, the boss battle, there's like an Egyptian city in the background, and the camera is panning around it. So you'd think it was like an animation or a 3D model in the background, but it was an actual model that was built.
Yeah.
And then it was taken. There was a picture taken at every degree of around the sculpture, so it's kind of like a stop motion 360 view of it.
Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, it was amazing. Like just like there's so much art in that game, and
It's cool to see like the behind the scenes with something like that, right? Like nobody would have ever known that was a 3D sculpture,
no, not at all.
right?
So they actually had the sculpture. There's a castle. When you're fighting a bird in the sky, they also do the rotating
Yeah.
castle. And just the process of building these things, it was none of this stuff has ever been done. So they were getting these creatives, and they were just coming up with ideas, and they kept failing, and they kept. It took him like 6 months to build this sculpture,
That's crazy.
and like 5 failures, and he showed all the pictures of it along the way and all that stuff.
You know what? That's good though. Honestly, at the end of the day, like you got to kind of go like, put your blood, sweat, and tears into it, right?
Yeah.
But to do something that innovative from an art perspective for a game, like this is an indie game, I mean, I understand it was at least part funded by Microsoft.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that question, but they specifically said no questions about the game. This is only about art. So I wanted to say, like, what was your relationship with Microsoft, and how will that affect the game getting ported to the Switch? But I was not able to ask that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I was going to ask it anyways because
Well, they probably wouldn't be the right people to answer though if this is like the art team. Like they wouldn't be involved in the dev relations and.
That's very true. Yeah, but
And the
they
marketing.
might like know something about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it depends on how small the group is, right?
Yeah.
They probably have random meetings and whatnot, so you never really know.
Yeah, and the people were so down to earth, and they're from Toronto. I would love to get him call him up.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
have like a little interview with him and get more behind the scenes stuff. Like I'm sure it's so.
Don't
possible.
ask, just get.
Coming soon to Game & Watch it.
Well, it's an exclusive. If you hear Rusty, this has been promised. Snorlax, fix him quickly. Oh no, quickly.
Yeah, Snorlax fell, but yeah, hopefully I can get in contact with him. I have all his information, so hopefully I can get in contact or even just do a better look at what I saw at the show.
Why don't you just do a better podcast? How about that?
Yeah, Mr. Host, man.
Ouch. But this game is nominated for game in the GOTY Awards.
Yeah.
For best art direction.
Yeah, which I think it's a shoe-in. There's no question.
Well, do you know any of the other nominations? for,
I
art
saw
direction?
them. I don't remember what they are, but I was looking through the nomination list, and yeah, it's Cuphead. There is no question it's going to be Cuphead.
I hope it wins because they have so much heart.
Yeah.
And they're so dedicated and they're a bunch of artists. They're not gamers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. And also, win for Canada. Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But
Right.
there's people from the States who worked on the game as well.
Yeah, but studio out of Saskatchewan and
Yep.
people from Toronto who went to OCAD,
Yeah.
right? Like that prestigious Toronto art school.
Well, it's the Ontario College of Art and Design
I know.
University.
I
I love how
Opadu.
I love how there's a college and university built in.
Yeah, in the name.
But yeah, you can't take that away from the name. But let's get back into the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's have a little discussion about the nominations this year.
Yeah, so what do we have for Game of the Year? We have Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, we have Super
Obvious
Mario
winner.
Odyssey.
We have Odyssey.
Obvious winner.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, the pity nomination, because I'm sorry, you can't have Zelda and Horizon Zero Dawn in the same category and have Horizon Zero Dawn win. It doesn't happen.
There's PUBG.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's one more. What am
Persona
I forgetting?
5.
Oh, yeah, Persona 5.
Which is the first time a JRPG has probably ever made it into the GOTY. So it really says how amazing that game was.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you think it has a chance of winning?
Not in hell.
Okay.
Yeah, not a chance in hell. And don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, a lot of these games are very, very good games worthy of the nomination.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, it's coming down to Odyssey or Breath of the Wild.
I think if it's not Breath of the Wild, I would see that as a big upset.
Yeah, this is the thing. The only one that might be able to dethrone it that isn't a Nintendo property right now is PUBG.
No way.
I'm telling you, it is the only game in the past little while that has not only overtaken League of Legends on Twitch for most people streaming it, but stayed stuck and is still the highest game on Twitch, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, this game is in beta form and it got nominated. That's huge.
Yeah, of course. It is the best team first-person shooter to come out, according to people, because I haven't played it
Yeah, me
in
neither.
a very long time. I mean, outside of Overwatch. But it's a huge battle royale of sorts.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's like 30 some odd people playing at a time. Kind of what Battlefield has been doing for a little bit. But I don't know the full specifics. But as far as I've heard, it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, fair enough. I haven't seen much of it, but I know Overwatch won last year, so it'd be kind of like these competitive games are becoming huge. Is it considered like an esport?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it is. And now also Unreal is releasing a game that is almost exactly like PUBG in that style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is going to be something that we're going to see more and more of as time goes on. They innovated something within the first person shooter range or third person shooter range or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I think with that alone, they might actually have a shot of winning. I'm still saying it's going to be Zelda.
Yeah. Back to PUBG. Do you guys or PUBG whatever? Do you guys think it's cool that was nominated because it's still not a final release game?
I don't think it's not. For me, the issue is not that it's nominated. My issue is that these games are gaining massive popularity while still in beta.
Yeah.
And then they just stay in early access forever.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that's a little bit stranger than the fact that it got nominated. Because if it's an awards show and something is massively popular, they're going to put it on. They're not going to kick it off because of a technicality. Because what benefit does the Game Awards have for excluding it? For my question is why don't they just call a game released?
Yeah, the official release date is happening just barely after the GOTYs.
Yeah.
Or TGA.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be coming soon, according to them. I'll believe it when I see it, I guess, because I think you're right. A lot of these games do stay in beta for a while. Minecraft being, case in point.
True.
But yeah, it's just why bother fully releasing the game when you don't necessarily need to? This game is essentially the full release of the game as it stands right now.
It just seems bizarre where you have some companies releasing games that aren't finished and then calling the game released and then just doing massive day one patches. And then you have other games that, as far as everyone concerned, are complete enough to be massively popular.
Yeah.
Like, why not just call that like V2 or something? Like, I guess I just don't know enough about the business model for it to make sense.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. We'll see how it works out with them. Again, we won't know until we actually see a full 1.0 release.
Yeah.
But I don't think much is going to change in the game. So I think it might have been a reason to why they implemented it into the nomination for the GOTY this year.
Yeah.
Just knowing full well that, okay, the game's pretty much done.
Yeah.
We're not going to see much else. Everybody's already loving it completely. This is the way to go.
Now, is it better than Zelda or Mario?
I can't say because
Exactly.
I've never played it.
I know.
Unfortunately.
I've never played it, but I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm going to say no, too. I'm curious, though.
I think it's
And
just...
not at all because of my personal bias.
I think Zelda's going to win just because it's a more complete product. At the end of the day, PUBG is amazing, but as far as I know, it's a straight-up multiplayer battle royale arena game. And
Yeah,
with
but
that
how
in
about-
mind...
How about Odyssey?
Yeah.
You don't think Odyssey has a chance?
Not with Zelda in the lineup.
What?
Yeah, Odyssey. Okay, so I mean, I'm gonna bleed into our Mario conversation for the next segment afterwards. But
Okay.
between both of them, I've always liked Zelda more between the two, just because it was the small sandboxes, like the exploration in Mario. It was good, but it wasn't anywhere near the exploration and how well that was implemented in Zelda. When you're putting something in and it's a small sandboxes, I get it, but the rewards didn't feel anywhere near as good when I found a power moon compared to when I found a shrine or when I found like some really cool area,
hard to
really
compare.
cool item. Yeah, but they're both explorational in a sense. So seeing it from that perspective alone, I think Zelda has the clear win.
I think that Zelda being the game that slingshotted Nintendo's now like renaissance that they're in right now.
Yeah.
And not to mention, I feel like that game has solidified itself that no longer Mario, but like Legend of Zelda is Nintendo's flagship franchise. Or maybe not flagship's the right word, but in terms of like
No, I
their
agree.
most popular like money draw franchise. Like I'd be curious to see what the numbers look like of Zelda versus Odyssey after.
Mario will always make more money than Zelda.
Yeah?
Oh, 100%. Like, look at the theme park. It's Mario based with, like, a little bit of Zelda.
Okay, but I'm not talking about Mario as a brand. I'm talking about one singular Mario game versus one singular Legend of Zelda game. Like, I feel like this game was just, like, it was such a watershed moment that to deny it Game of the Year, like, and I know a lot of this is colored by just, like, my Nintendo obsession, but it's the game that launched the Switch, and now the Switch has become a massive success now that nobody was expecting it to be that.
I was. What?
No, okay, fine. But you were also expecting the Wii U to be a massive success.
I was as well.
So, yeah, you know, just think
Always bet. I'm doubling down. I'm dug in.
23 will hit at some point.
Yes.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I really, really love Zelda, and I really love Mario, and it's really hard to pick between the two.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't want to, but I just, at the end of the day, I feel like Mario was just more fun, and I had a better time with Mario.
Okay. I feel the complete opposite. I had more fun with Zelda.
I felt like I was able to play over 100 hours of Zelda without ever getting bored. And Mario, by the time I got to 500 moons, I'm like, okay, like I need a long break from
Exactly.
this game.
Exactly. It's the whole reason I started playing Wolfenstein.
Mario's so dense, and there's so much to see in those sandbox levels, where Zelda, there was a lot of breathing room when you're going from shrine to shrine. It's a lot more like, it was more of an adventure. It took 10 minutes to get from here to there, where Mario takes like a couple skip, a hop, and a jump, and then you already got another shrine. So it's a lot like, the pacing's different. So
It is.
in terms of hours, I don't think that's fair to compare in terms of how many hours you put in, because 30 hours of Mario is probably the same as 60 hours of Zelda.
This is the thing. I feel like the complexity of Mario Odyssey kind of worked to its detriment in my eyes, in a sense. Where like when you're looking at Zelda Breath of the Wild, you have one gigantic, expansive world, and that is it. And you just run around and explore that world.
Yeah.
For me, having the tiny little sandboxes, I mean, it's not like it's a bad thing. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm shitting on this game because I love this game.
They're both really, really good.
Yes.
You know what?
Absolutely.
Maybe let's not get too in depth about Mario and save that for the second half.
Yeah, I think we have another segment that we should be touching on right now. Because something
Let's
huge
talk
happened.
about the big thing in the news.
Yeah.
Let's get our hands dirty now.
Yeah.
Here we go.
EA.
Yeah.
It's in the game.
Yeah.
Or it's not in the game anymore. And by that, I mean loot boxes.
Yeah,
And by in the game anymore, I mean temporarily.
So just to tell all our viewers and listeners that none of us have played the game.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just say for the 3 people that have not heard about this somewhere on social media, Star Wars Battlefront 2 was to be launched with a new sort of microtransactional, heavy loot box oriented progression system with random draws to get actual progressive upgrades to upgrade your character.
Yes.
After massive fan backlash and a very stilted AMA on Reddit, EA announced that they will be suspending microtransactions until the game can be restructured.
Yes.
A lot of people are saying that this is a big victory, especially as certain governments are now ruling in favor, or at least suggesting that perhaps this should be considered gambling and should be considered banned for that reason. But just the question is, do we actually think this is a blow against microtransactions, or are they just going to come back bigger and slightly different?
I think this is a pretty big hit to microtransactions on the console gaming level.
Yeah.
Mobile gaming, I'm sure we've said this before, it's never going to go away.
It is the business model.
That's it, right? You release a free app, that's how you make your money. Fine, I get it.
For now.
For now,
Yeah.
right? With these games where it's a $70, $80, $90 game, whatever it is, depending on where you live, this is insanity. To have this type of system be not necessarily a necessity, but essentially a necessity. When you're looking at this game and you have to plug in somewhere close to like 20 hours or pay $100.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Because 20 hours, that's a lot of gaming. That's a fully fleshed out single player campaign for pretty much any other game in the world, if not even longer than most of them now. So imagine plugging in that amount of time, right? And effort just to see your returns go nowhere because anybody who has the option to pay now will, and you're going to get your ass handed to you. And to give everybody a little bit of a preface on how the system works, there's 3 different types of loot crates that you can get within the game. There's the hero crates, the starship crates, and the trooper crates, or whatever they're called. The trooper crates are the ones that everybody is complaining about the most of, because those you get cards. And those cards you can either expand or equip to your character, and instantly gives you more experience, instantly levels you up, instantly makes you tougher, stronger, faster, whatever. And you have to do no work. And to buy, and this is almost one of the only ways to level up your character. So whether you do it with in-game credits that you've earned along the way, or something that you've bought with crystals, that's the only way to power up your character. This is the model that they've created.
Yeah.
And this is why everybody is so pissed off.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit. I don't like the model.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's considered gambling because you get something out of it. It's like baseball cards or Pokemon cards or gumball machine toys. You put $2 in and you get a random toy.
Yeah, blind boosters are not a new thing.
It's true.
And I don't mind that model. I wouldn't personally never do it, but I don't think it's gambling, and I think it's bad business ethics from EA, but it's not gambling, and I don't think
Yeah, because EA is such a stand-up company to begin with.
Yeah, I think the gambling argument, I agree with Rusty that it's a bit extreme, saying that it should be illegal, but at the same time, it is certainly scummy. It is a scummy way to do things.
Yes.
And though it's become acceptable in the mobile sphere, when you're paying $70 for a game and then you have to pay more, here's my concern is EA said that they are going to do this reversion temporarily. Who knows what's going to come back from that point?
Yep.
Because here's my concern is that now the bigger industry or the bigger developers for these AAA games are looking for a more profitable return on what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if they start losing this revenue stream, who the fuck knows what they're going to go after next?
Yeah,
because they've gotten a taste of this. This is now part of their business model. It's not going to go away. It's just going to become maybe a little bit more subtle, a little bit more insidious. And I I feel like it's not going away anytime soon. It's only just a matter of time before it comes back for Battlefront 2 and for any other game that happens to be made by these bigger devs that are going to be sinking that much money. And it's such a shame that nobody's talking about, the art direction. Nobody's talking about the gameplay. Nobody's talking about, like the actual game itself. Everybody's just talking about the business model. And it is a sad state of affairs when we have to talk about video games now not as art or as something that like wants to be good of its own intrinsic value, but we have to be consider it now like in retrospect to its pricing model of it being a revenue stream for a larger company.
Well, okay, so this is the thing, though. I mean, I think a lot of people started seeing the game for what it was after the microtransactions were taken out.
Yeah.
Because the game was built for microtransactions, no matter which way it's sliced. So when you're looking at the rewards for completing a mission or doing something, all you're doing is getting credits.
Yeah.
Nothing else. You're just getting credits or you're buying crystals, and they essentially do the same thing, right? Now, with that in mind, the rewards that you get will go into a randomly generated box that will give you a randomly generated reward that you may not need.
Yeah.
Therefore, making whatever you've done essentially useless.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why, I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it, because I'm sure the art direction was great in this game. It's a Star Wars game.
Looks really good.
It does look really good. And I'm sure it plays well too. But at the end of the day, if you feel like you're playing this game and getting nothing out of it, and not getting anywhere where it's going to make you happy, this is EA's fault. They've done it to themselves. They shot themselves in the foot, even from a gameplay perspective. Let's say microtransactions stay out of the game. It's still a shitty game.
See, here's my counter argument. It would be Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
That is a game that you could spend a solid hour hunting down a monster, and either, you just don't manage to take it down, or you get a shitty loot drop because it's all randomly generated loot that comes from it. So how would that be any different from the way the Battlefront model is sitting right now, minus the actual cost in it? And see, these are things that have been acceptable for so long, but once they become monetized, now it becomes a sticky issue, and now it's as if like the entire thing is gone. It's like, once again, to Rusty's point, that there's always been blind boosters, but and you can say, but it's pay to win for these games. Well, it was pay to win for Pokemon cards if you were the kind of kid that had enough disposable income to have somebody buy you some Charizards or to buy single cards. You know what I mean? Like that. It's always been there.
Our poor parents.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, right? No, to be fair, I also think Monster Hunter is a shitty game too, but that's a personal preference thing.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from. It has been a standard across the board, and I never really thought about it that way. So this is just me being like, I'm much more calm than what I feel inside about this. I'm a raging Star Wars fanboy right now. Yeah. Like, I am so pissed off that they're trying to really use a franchise to make them, or to do some pretty scummy shit.
Yeah.
Right? And a franchise that I love. So it hits me a little closer to home.
I mean, businesses are going to do what businesses are going to do.
Of course.
They're going to do what's ever going to be the right for them to maximize their profits. And at the end of the day, like, I don't see this getting any better. I think at the best, this is hobbled Battlefront 2, and that it'll never be the success that perhaps it even should be, intrinsic to its like gameplay merits, just because of this marketing thing. But I just don't ever see it getting better.
I agree.
I think at the end of the day, just educate yourself and make smart decisions.
Yeah, honestly. And honestly, if it does piss you off, make your voice heard.
Yeah.
Get out there. Twitter exists. Facebook exists. Everything else. Get out there. Make your voice heard.
Cool. Let's take a break. And when we get back, we're going to get into a globe-trotting adventure with Mario.
Yay!
Let's go! And we're back.
Hi.
Thank you for sticking around. We're going to get into our second part of Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
We had part one. It was spoiler free. And this one will be spoiler.
Yeah, we're going in depth, so consider yourself warned.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so where should we start? What are your overall thoughts? You guys, we all beat the game. Let's start there.
I really, really, really like this game. Just straight up. All the worlds were awesome, very different. Every piece of it was very, very well put together, very well thought out. Even when it came down to like, the transformations and like takeovers with the hats, they were all very well implemented in the style of gameplay. It was always gameplay first, and then run with it. Where like, let's say a game like Kirby, it's more just kind of caution to the wind, right? You just, okay, whatever, I'll get the ninja guy. Is he going to be there for a puzzle? No, I need the fire guy. Okay, I'll go get the fire guy.
Yeah, I found like these power-ups, like you could make a game based on each one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they're so well done, well designed, and they all feel completely different. It's like you play as like 50 different characters in that game.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like every little piece, like the little what are the lava guys called again? Starts with a P.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Either way, you know what I'm talking. Little fireballs.
Yeah,
The jumping ones.
Yeah, like becoming old school Mario enemies, I think was like one of my favorite parts of the game. Like becoming the Goomba, which was kind of cool. Becoming the Cheep was awesome.
Yeah.
Like for the underwater areas, that was a key piece.
It's interesting that they for the underwater levels, usually in 3D Mario games, you could like swim naturally.
Yeah.
But they brought back the mechanics from Super Mario 1 where you sink and then you press A to move up.
Yeah, the 2D styles.
The 2D styles. So that was very interesting to see them implement a 2D tradition into a 3D game. And it's not very fun.
Yeah, no, the swimming is very, very
Yeah, it took me a long time to figure out how to do the, because I was always playing on Pro Controller or handheld, how to do the quick swim.
Oh, that's another thing. I haven't even done that yet.
Yeah, okay, before we even just move off the hat mechanic, like I just want to touch that on a bit. Like what I love about the hat mechanic is not only has it brought in all new mechanics to the game, but it also makes it so that enemies are not just obstacles anymore.
Yeah.
Almost every single enemy you see is not just an obstacle you need to get past or something you need to kill to get coins. It's actually then a tool to possibly do other things.
Yeah.
Like it just adds that extra level of depth and interactivity into the game, which I just think is like pretty awesome. But onto what you're saying about the classic mechanics, that's another thing that I was not expecting in this game, to have Mario have like all the moves from his entire repertoire.
Yeah.
Some of them it's kind of awkward to get to because they count on you of having the loose nunchuck grip or the loose Joy-Con grip.
We'll get into motion controls.
We could touch on that later, but I love that they still have the triple jump from Mario 64.
Yeah.
They have the wall jump. They've brought in like ledge grabbing and all kinds of things, as well as now the new mechanics for the hat jumps and so on. And
Belly diving off your hat jump. I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah,
Have you learned that yet?
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's so good. You
it's
can
really
never
fun.
go back. I want to replay the game knowing that skill.
Do you know what taught me that? Oddly enough, one of the Koopa races. So like after you beat the game and you unlock the cubes in all the worlds, and then the Koopas start showing up.
Yeah.
Which I think was a really nice touch. There was one where I did the Master Cup, and to beat the gold guy that comes with it, I needed to do like the wall climb,
Yeah.
where you have to like jump off the wall, throw your hat, and then dive onto it.
Yeah.
And that is what taught me how to do those kinds of moves.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because they don't teach you that mechanic until you get to, spoiler,
Yeah.
the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah.
And you have to dress up as the classic low poly Mario
64,
costume. And then you go into the secret door and you go into the garden from Mario 64.
Yeah.
And it's recreated like in Mario 64 style. And it's all low res, low texture. And they teach you that mechanic. And there's a sign there teaching. And then you have that little video that pops up that shows you how to do it.
Yeah. Can we talk about the throwbacks to Mario 64? Like just the nice little pieces they had.
All over Mushroom Kingdom, like the lobby is the same, but just a higher res version.
Mushroom Kingdom is gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. And then it just, what really blew me away was Yoshi on the roof. And I found out about that way too early. It wasn't a spoiler or anything, but it was when because they have those picture frames in every level that'll take you to another level to get a secret moon.
So in the Luncheon Kingdom, did you jump in the painting
and saw the Mushroom Kingdom, and I saw the star for the first time there, and then I read the sign because it was Yoshi's house.
Yeah.
So like I'm looking, I'm like, oh my god, he's on top of the castle. Oh my god, he's on top of the castle. So
and then you get to the Mushroom Kingdom and another throwback mechanic, bringing back Yoshi's apples or whatever those little fruit are that have not been any game other than Super Mario World, as far as I know.
Galaxy 2.
Oh, they're in Galaxy 2 as well.
Yoshi's story, I guess, in a sense too, just with the fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, when you guys saw Yoshi, did you try jumping on him immediately, or did
Yes.
you? Yeah,
That was,
'cause it
that
was
was
a
my
stupid
first thought. I'm
instant-
like, it doesn't look like he could fit. And they're like, oh yeah, the hat.
Yeah, exactly. Like I kept throwing it at him. Like, why isn't this working? And then I had that like, oh, I'm an idiot moment. I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
exactly. And then his little Yoshi has a bunch of challenges. He has a couple of power moons. And then when you get into the later game, like the darker side of the moon and the darker side of the and the dark side of the moon, he has even more challenges.
Yeah.
So there's like a good like 10 stages based around the Yoshi mechanic.
I was so happy about that. Even just like the certain things they implemented that were never there before with Yoshi, like the tongue being used as almost like a grappling hook.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then sticking you to the wall like a ninja, and you just stay there. It was so awesome.
And then he belly dives off
Yeah.
off the wall.
Yeah.
It's like a super wall jump.
Yeah. How they use that in the darker side with like that conveyor belt going up, and you had to avoid the fuzzies or whatever. No,
Yeah.
not the fuzzies. What are they called?
The black fuzzy
Thingamabobbers.
creatures. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, I still like the way Yoshi played in Galaxy 2 when you use the Wii remote to point at things, and that was a grappling hook.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's a little limited, but he's one of like 50 power-ups you get in Odyssey. So it's understandable that he's not that deep of a character.
But yeah, in terms of, and I want to go back to those turtle racing things because I find it amazing that not only is Nintendo actively encouraging speed running through it, but they're actually creating a training program within the game to show you sort of their recommended speedrun things and showing you some of the options, and the fact that there's a leaderboard built into the game. Like I don't know of any other game that has that in that kind of like I feel like it's unprecedented.
Yeah, in that kind of context for sure. I know Twitch loved that.
Yeah.
Like all the Mario streamers that I watch, whether it's like Carl Sagan 42 or Grand Pooh Bear or whatever, they were all they all have ridiculous names, but I love them. They're awesome. They have been ranting and raving about that speedrunning aspect to it. How it was so well put together with that. So yeah, I think they really nailed it on the head with this.
In speedrunning and the game breaking kind of like where they have the hidden coin caches in areas where you shouldn't be able to reach unless you're using super advanced techniques. Like Nintendo is now with this game actively courting the people that don't play the game, I guess you could say, as intended.
Yep.
It's very true, and I love how that mechanic of belly diving, that's the speedrunning mechanic. They don't teach you that until the end of the game. So for every mission, you got to get from A to C. And at the end of the game, they teach you that you can skip B by like using the belly dive, and you can go from A to C directly. So you could the replayability of this game, it doubled as soon as you master that technique.
Yeah. I feel like this is very inspired by what they did with Breath of the Wild. This might be like their new formula. It's like, go exploring, go find these areas. We are going to put little rewards for you. It's not like it's just like, oh, we found a way to get to this area and they had no idea we were going to get there. It's like you think that you get to the top of this like gigantic pillar, and then all of a sudden those like little coins pop up, and you're like, oh my god, they actually thought about this.
Have you guys got all the power-ups or all the costume? Not the costumes, the transformations.
I think so. I've never gone back and checked that menu to see if I missed any.
I think I got them all.
Okay.
There was like certain areas where I thought I was going to get one, and then it was like Dory, the little what's that dinosaur called?
Dory.
No.
The swimming ones?
Loch Ness monster.
The Plesiosaurus or whatever.
It's either Plessy or Dory. I think one's Plessy and one's Dory.
Oh no, but I mean the actual dinosaurs that they're.
Oh, Plesiosaurus.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that type of model.
Plessy's from 3D World, the orange one that you could ride. That was so much fun.
Oh, you could actually possess them?
No, in 3D World, he was like a sliding.
Yeah, there's those like log flume stages.
Yeah, those are fun.
And Dory was from Mario 64.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then redesigned in Mario 64 DS.
Yeah, it was funny. I was playing with Andy. I brought the game over to his place, and like I threw. Or I should say, he was like, "Oh my god, that's wearing a hat. We could probably do it." And like he threw the hat at it, and then just like nothing happened. I'm like, "Yeah, no, I don't think you can take it over." It was a little bit of disappointment, being like, "Oh my god, you can become Dory." Oh, you can't become Dory.
Yeah, that would be fun to play as Dory.
I'm surprised. Like it's not like it would be like a game breaking mechanic to be able to swim on the surface.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where like every transformation had weight to it.
Yeah, I guess it had to have a purpose.
Reason,
exactly.
The game was designed in a way where the levels were created first.
Yeah.
So the whole mechanics was all laid out on paper, and then the design came in, and they're like, what world can we suit to this?
Yeah.
So for example, Tostarena, it was the level was created, and then like I think a desert would fit this theme.
Yeah.
And like the city, it was all vertical, so they're like, I think this would a city would be a nice design element for this world or this kingdom. Speaking of kingdoms, what was your favorite kingdom?
Aesthetically?
No, just like the most fun. Like, what was your? Well, yeah.
Oh, this is
Not design wise, just
this is tough because I want to say Mushroom Kingdom right now just because it was.
But before
fucking
we answer
awesome.
that, I don't want to get off the transformations.
Yeah,
What's your
let's-
favorite transformations?
yes.
Oh, this is tough. I'm still gonna say the Onion. I love the Onion.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Like it's not so much the transformation in and of itself, but how it was implemented into the areas that it was available at.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, I love little hop. It's so satisfying.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, it feels really smooth.
The whole game feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The polish is just
Yeah,
outstanding.
like even like boss battles when you like hit a boss, that impact, it's like, oh, like I felt it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Pokio, the little woodpecker.
Oh, yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I love just the feeling of just pulling the thumbstick back and just letting it fling.
I died so many times because I've accidentally flung myself down.
yeah.
It's a little hard to get used to.
Yeah.
And then you had the boss battle with the wooden mech.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
was awesome.
that was fun.
Yeah.
Did you guys do the secondary one with the Hammer Brothers? And I think the Dark Side?
Yeah, the dark side. I did that.
I don't
Yeah.
think, no, I didn't do that. I never finished Dark Side.
Ah, okay.
Those
yeah.
brutals are so hard to kill with moon mechanics,
dude.
Oh wow, that was
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, that was another thing I really liked is when you went to the moon and like the gravity was completely off and you had to completely learn how to play the game again and like throw yourself off completely.
And then you get the frog and you jump like a million
Yeah,
feet into
yeah.
the air.
Yeah.
You're like jumping on top of the church.
Yeah.
That was infuriating at times, though.
Yeah.
Like with the frog specifically in the moon areas, I was ready to lose my mind.
Yeah.
There was a challenge where you had to get the frog, but there was waves of that like purple toxic lava type stuff.
Oh, that one was tough.
Oh, I must have been playing that one for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes straight. And before I actually got it, might have been even longer. And I was just like, I was losing my mind.
I
trying
died
to
a
do
whole
that.
bunch of times. The trick is to always take a break.
Yeah.
Take a break, sleep on it, come back. But RZ, what's your favorite power up?
I like the jet octopus or whatever, the one from Bubble Lane, like the one that lets you sort of have the Super Mario Sunshine mechanics,
Yes, yeah.
where you could fly straight up or jet forward. I really like that one.
I enjoyed the
Yeah.
boss battle. I love how
Yeah.
the whole level became the boss arena.
Yeah.
He
So
was
that was-
annoying though. That octopus boss.
Yeah, I
Like,
kind of
trying
agree.
to get on
It's
top.
probably
of it.
my least favorite of all the bosses because I didn't really feel like I knew what I was doing. I'm like, okay, this is working. I think I'm doing the right thing, but it never felt as like clear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. What did you guys think of the final boss battle?
Meh.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. Don't get me wrong. It's
Yeah.
just I felt the boss battles in general were just not very good. My favorite one out of the bunch, I think, is in the Luncheon Kingdom.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But even still, I felt like the camera and trying to flow up the stream, it was kind of awkward.
Especially like the last one, and when I did the redux of that fight, like the camera angles were kind of screwy
Yeah.
with that one. Like in general, I liked the boss battles. There were some I didn't like. Like I found that octopus one a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
The Bowser one, I just found it kind of cheap, and maybe it's just because I couldn't understand the arcs of the hats. That I felt like I was just brute forcing my way through it. That I couldn't understand what was the right way to dodge when he has the whole swarm of hats coming at you.
Yeah.
I felt like they were all just homing. There was no pattern for me to call.
Yeah, it felt a little cheap because at the end of the day, your hat trumps all. So I found that out, and it just made every boss battle that less challenging.
Okay.
Where it's just like everything was coming at me. I'm like, hat jump, hat jump, hat jump, hat jump. Find the other one, take it over. Cool, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Bowser battle was a little standard.
Yeah.
Like, it was run of the mill, but I think once you became Bowser,
Oh, that was
Yeah.
awesome.
it's like we played as Bowser before in like Super Paper Mario and that stuff, and he's usually slow and chunky and powerful.
Yeah.
But this was like fast and agile, and he had so much going on.
Yeah.
And he played so well.
Yeah.
And also, he did the triple jump.
yeah.
And on the third jump, he gives a Super Mario power stance.
Yeah.
And it's so cute. Just a small detail like that.
yeah.
And that song that played in the background.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah.
That was pure Sonic.
Oh yeah.
So Sonic.
There was a lot of things that were pure Sonic, like the dragon boss battle.
No, that was pure Dark Souls.
Yeah, I think I got that
supposed
same
to be-
impression.
Is that supposed to be like a little commentary, like little parody type
Well,
thing? on
it's
Dark Souls?
Mario visiting all world, and so they wanted to make one world that's like super brutal and dark looking and ruined, and
Okay, that
like
makes
that's why the
sense.
dragon's so detailed. Like I thought that was definitely like a sort of like Dark Souls like playful nudge.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Now that I think about it, it's just they've done that like super realistic dragon thing in a bunch of Sonic games before.
Oh, have they?
So,
Okay.
Oh yeah. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And that boss battle was fun too. I like when you arrive in the Forgotten Kingdom or whatever
Yeah.
it's called. You have those little like graves that you have to pop out.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that was fun. But then it actually it's like a mechanic of the boss battle.
Yeah, I love how they presented
They're
that.
masterful game designers. They're like,
They're probably the best around.
yeah.
So go figure, right?
I think Nintendo has just learned how to make games for everyone.
Yeah.
Like how to make the game totally accessible without like walking you through pages and pages and pages of tutorials.
Yeah.
Like how to make it so that the game's simple enough that you can enjoy yourself if you're like a little kid, but also having deep mechanics that if you're the kind of explorer and you really want to like push the game to its limits, they're there. They can be part of the game, or they don't have to, but they don't have to be like intrinsic or like necessary at all.
You can blow through every level if you want to. I remember the Luncheon Kingdom. The first time I fought that boss was during the Redux, not during the original, because I just got enough moons. I was like, I'll go to the next one.
Yeah, I have a quote here from Iwata.
Oh, yeah.
And it goes, above all, video games are meant to be just one thing, fun for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's I thought that was it.
They nailed it.
Yeah.
They absolutely nailed it. Right on the head. So, whatever. Nintendo guys, good job. Jesus Christ. This game is fucking fantastic.
All right, so Rusty, your question is it like in the back of our minds, have we thought what our favorite worlds are yet?
Yeah. It's so hard. I have like, is it this one? What should I say?
It's the same thing with me. I can't quite put a you know what? Aesthetically, I'm gonna say it's that like it's Bowser's Castle.
Oh,
the
yes.
Japanese-esque style like temple.
The
crazy
banners
fortress.
aggressively dancing in the
Yes.
background.
Yeah.
Oh man,
How that level was created, the fact that you had to use that woodpecker guy to climb up to certain areas, and how they implemented those secrets, and how tough it was to get some of those purple coins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Yeah, I think that was my favorite level from that.
Yeah, that was. The game got spoiled for me a lot. I was addicted to it, so I didn't. There wasn't many surprises, but Bowser's Castle was one of my big surprises.
Yeah, that was awesome.
and it had that impact. So
Yeah. Favorite music? If I'm gonna go from like all aspects for a level, probably gonna be Forest Kingdom or whatever it's called.
the jazzy,
It's
slap the bass.
so
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. That's my
Yeah.
favorite music in the game.
There's no question.
I think for the music, I'm gonna go with Lost Kingdom. It was
Yeah?
like the pan flutes.
Oh, okay.
It was
Okay.
just I just loved it. I listened to it at work. It just I could listen to it for hours. It's just so soothing.
Yeah.
And it's nice to listen to. But as for Kingdom, I think the Metro Kingdom is
Metro Kingdom's up there, like for because
Dunk City, man.
like for average in terms of aesthetic, in terms of gameplay, the festival, like the Mario Festival
the
stage,
climax,
like it's like that, like there's nothing else like that.
no. Yeah, that was such a great moment going through that. And the
Yeah.
boss battle was cool, like the tanks and
Yeah,
and it was so vertical. One of the well, no, there's a lot of vertical levels, but
it's probably the most vertical stage.
yeah.
You're talking about the beginning of New Donk?
I'm just saying New Donk in general is
Yeah.
the most
Oh,
vertical
the city.
stage.
Oh, for sure. But even how you had to like climb that tower at the beginning, getting into it when it was all rainy and dark, and you had to like get in there.
Yeah, so freaking cool. And that was one of the. How many stages had a night mode, nighttime version? Toast Arena,
Yeah, Toast Arena.
Metro. I think that's about it.
I don't know if it. Yeah, because I know, like Bubble Lanes start off during the day and then it became Sunset, and then
Yeah, that's
Sunset's
right,
the
yeah.
default.
That's such a great stage too.
Yeah.
I love that kingdom. It's so. It was probably the most super. Like from the Mushroom Kingdom was for Mario 64, and I know there's no Delfino Plaza, but I felt like Lakeside Kingdom was the Super Mario Sunshine level.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was the pure throwback. Just again, what we were talking about with that octopus monster, having it be like the floods. I can't remember what it was called, but that turbocharge move that you got later on with the flood.
Yeah.
where you could just like propel yourself forward and move across anything.
Well, that's the Rocket Flower that does that.
But it's that type of mentality where you're like propelling yourself forward with water.
Okay,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like it was a nice little gesture towards.
Yeah.
Actually, you're right. The Rocket Flower was awesome too. I love those things.
The Rocket Flower, like the
Galaxy 2, right?
Galaxy 2,
Yeah,
yeah.
it
There's a
makes
lot of
sense.
there's a lot of games like there's a lot of stuff even from 3D World that is in the game that everyone's like, oh, that's brand new. It's like, well, actually, no, that's from 3D World and stuff. So yeah, they took a lot from the past. It's like a love letter. I hate saying that, but it's a love letter to all past Mario games.
You had one of those moments today.
With the lion thing, oh my god, Jaxi.
Yeah, the Jaxi, I totally forgot.
Yeah.
Where's it from, Paulie? Tell everyone.
Super Mario Land. So Super Mario Land had a whole bunch of like very different enemies. The one originally for Game Boy, of course. And Jaxi was one of those enemies. So when I found out that it was actually a thing and it wasn't just like a statue, and you could like call them at the bus stops in the Desert Kingdom. That might have been one of my favorite things ever. And the fact that you mounted it instead of becoming it.
Weird.
That was really cool.
Yeah. And Jaxi, like, because I know Game Boy, the graphics were pretty poor.
Yeah.
But Jaxi is on the cover of Game Boy Land. Super Mario Land, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, on average, I'm gonna have to agree with you, Rusty. Like saying Metro Kingdom, just for like, I don't even know if it has my favorite of any of the one categories. You may want to break it down, but just on the average, between the music, between like the kind of gameplay that existed in that world, in terms of the aesthetic and the verticality, even just the ridiculousness of having all these people dressed up in like 40s suits walking around,
And they're so derpy.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of dumbasses. It kind of dehumanizes them a bit. The voices they use, so I felt like that they were silly and they weren't so like.
Yeah, that festival was just such a great climax for the game.
Yeah, and they captured New York so well.
Yeah.
Even like in front of the Cap store, you have one of the guys saying, "Oh, this is the original Cap store." It's like something you'd actually see in New York. Like, oh, so good.
Yeah, but in terms of music, I agree with Paulie. Like I just love those. I don't know if we call them like 70s kind of guitars in the Forest Kingdom.
Yeah.
Forest Kingdom, I would say, was probably my close second for favorite overall. Like I love the mechanics in it. I loved exploring that stage. I'm just gonna give the edge to Metro Kingdom.
Have you got to the basement?
I found it by accident. Yeah. I thought I died, and then I ended up getting down there, and there's the T-Rex mechanic, which I'm like, oh, great. So there's actually more to this, and not just the sort of novelty in what's it called, Cascade Kingdom.
Yeah.
The T-Rex scared the shit out of me the first time I made it down there because I was not expecting it, and then he saw me from behind me. So I heard the roar, and I'm like, uh-oh, and I panned the camera, and he was already charging full force at me. I'm like, oh my god! I just bolted, like...
Yeah, see, I put like over 60 hours in that game, and I still haven't even touched that area.
Yeah.
I like to spend like a week in like one kingdom, like a play section in one, and then because there's so much to do in each kingdom.
There is. I've been playing very differently. I've been going into an area, playing until I get bored in that area, and then just going on to the next one. So
me too. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah, like I'll maybe play 3 kingdoms in a play session when I'm looking for power moons now.
Okay.
And God, can we talk about that? Some of the placement of the power moons, how well some of them were implemented.
Yeah.
Also, mind you, how shittily some of the other ones were too, but that's another issue altogether.
Yeah, some of them are like, oh, it's just over there.
Yeah, okay, exactly. Like it's
walk over and get it.
I know it's crazy that you could get one in like a second, and then it takes like hours to get another one. Just trying. Like the difficulty of them is so varied. Kind of like how Breath of the Wild was. How there was all the shrines, and there was no. There was like. You can go into a major test of strength or minor, like whichever one you stumble upon first.
Yeah, some of them are much harder than others.
Exactly, yeah.
I will say this. One potential detriment to the game is just the sheer amount of power moons. I think they could have cut it back a little bit, even by, 5%, 10%?
It is overwhelming. Like the number of power moons when I became aware that it's, like approaching 1,000. Like that, it was just a detriment. It just made me accept that I'm never going to completionist this game. So once I reach a point where I'm comfortable, I should just stop.
Yeah, I'm going to try my best. I do want to get all the power moons. It's just I know I'm going to get frustrated at some point and just call it quits. But I want to reach that point first.
I'm definitely going to master the game. But I agree. I think that's the worst part of the game, or the lack of focus. It's always you go in there and you're like, where do I start? Where do I go? What have I done? What haven't I done?
Yeah.
So in that case, I kind of miss the direction that Mario 64 had. When you would go into a level and it was mission based,
and they would sort of point you in the direction of what you had to do.
You had an objective. Here, it's just kind of like you just do whatever you want, and I feel like it lacks a little focus. But like, it also is really good it's a double-edged sword, you know what I mean?
It is, and it always will be, because I remember very, very blatantly shitting on that Mario 64 style for a very long time.
Yeah, me and you both.
Oh, yeah. And now it's just, I mean, I feel like there's a happy medium here. There has to be, right? Like, there has to be something where, as I was saying before, maybe just don't implement that many power moons in. Maybe make it an overall of 500 instead of like 8 million, you know? Like,
Yeah. No, I enjoy it. Like, they're so dense, the levels, and there's always something to do, and there's like always like a new corner. And like, I've spent hours in Metro Kingdom, and there's still stuff that I'm discovering.
I think I need to take a break, come back to it in like a week or two,
And that's
just to
fine,
give it
yeah.
a little bit of a refresher. I was going to say, Michael Huber from Easy Allies, I think, put it perfectly, because they were talking about this, I think, about a week or so ago. And he said, like, you know what, I've gotten to the point where I've beaten the game. I've unlocked the extra moons now with the cubes. He's like, I'm just going to play it on the side. Whenever I get bored of whatever, let's say I'm playing Wolfenstein 2, I want to put it down, but I still want to play something.
Yeah.
Put it on Odyssey, play it for an hour, find some moons, move on to the next thing. He goes, I'm probably going to be playing this game for the next year, if not even longer. And I think that's the best way to approach this game after you've beaten the main campaign.
The campaign's so short. I raced through the game because I just wanted to see more, and I was just like, "Oh, did I get the minimum amount? I want to move to the next one. I want to see everything." And I think my biggest letdown is I just wanted more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
It's such a big game, and wanting more it's not really like a bad thing.
No, it's not. I mean, we're always going to. We're gamers. At the end of the day, we're never happy with what we get, but it is what it is.
But I think once I dropped that, I started to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Well, you know, while we're on this frequency, let's talk about some criticisms. For me, perhaps my biggest beef of the game is I think it's just intrinsic to 3D platformers is dying because of just like perspective was a little bit off.
Yeah.
I do love that in this game they give you the most free control over the camera, like even more so than people might be comfortable with for a lot of platformers. But there were still many times that I died just because I misjudged where something was in relation to something else. Like something was a little bit more vertical as opposed to horizontal, and it was just a question of the perspective I had at that point. But I don't think that necessarily can be avoided in like a 3D platformer. I feel like no matter what, you're gonna get some percentage of that.
Yeah, I feel like any criticism I'm going to have on this game is going to be a little, you know, I'm going to be nitpicking.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this game overall is just a fantastic piece of work. Beyond the sheer amount of moons, I just can't think of anything else that I really didn't like about it.
Yeah.
Outside of obviously the depth of field, but that's just 3D platformers in general. That's kind of a trait.
I think I'm gonna go like for the game and the relationship to the Nintendo Switch and how it's portable and you could also play it on the television.
Yeah.
Yet the motion controls don't suit portability best.
Yeah.
So
I forgot
you're
about
selling
that.
you're selling this flagship title for your flagship system, yet they're not best friends.
Yeah.
That, you know what, I forget about that I really felt like I was playing almost like a lesser version of the game because I wasn't playing with the two-hand controller, and I play like the majority of the time in handheld. Like that's just my style. And the fact that there was just certain moves I couldn't do, or at least were prohibitively complicated relative to just the gesture-based movements. Like I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side where most of the time that I'm playing on the TV with the Pro Controller, and it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, the Pro Controller works great.
It does, but it's not like having the two in hand with the Joy-Cons.
It's the same
when
thing.
you can make the flicks.
Well, it has some of the motion controls, but not to the level it does when you have the two-hand controllers.
Yeah, exactly.
What doesn't it have?
Doing the spin is very awkward on the Pro Controller.
I
run around in a circle and then throw the hand.
That's how I do it.
Longer.
I still can't pull off that motion with my Joy-Cons. I just don't understand what's wrong.
Weird.
Huh. Yeah, I never had that problem in the rare times I was using the loose Joy-Cons.
Yeah, no. But even still, with the Pro Controller, you can just tilt it to the side. I actually pulled it off with the Pro Controller over the Joy-Cons.
Weird. Huh. It's always felt a little clunky to me because I have to move both hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
I could just be a one-hand flick, let's say, with the other one. You don't have to move both. You can just move one; it'll do it.
I've had trouble with it.
Really?
I actually prefer the spinning the joystick and doing that.
Yeah, it's how I do it from now on. Like
Yeah.
when those stupid little spiny guys come in and keep popping out of the ground.
Oh, yeah.
I think the only thing that the motion controls suck with on portable mode is shaking to go faster.
Yes, because you have to shake the whole console.
Climbing up a tree,
Yeah.
rolling on. Actually, no, you can just press Y.
Yeah. No, but I know where you're coming from. You're right. Even the bullet bill is another one.
Yeah,
Where to go
stuff like
faster,
that.
you need to shake it.
Yeah, even the glider, you could actually gain altitude by shaking the controller.
I
you
did
could,
not know that.
And you could like in that last stage, the really hard stage, you
Yeah.
could just like fly over his part and the next part.
Really?
Jesus. Okay, well, that might be a game-breaking thing, but cool.
No, it's part of
that-
the game. Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It's
cool.
there.
But also speaking about that, the forced message when you first boot up the game that's on there for like a good like 10 seconds or
Yeah,
something like
is-
that.
Is that like a loading screen that
I
they're
think
hiding?
so.
I don't think it needs to be a loading screen because we've seen the loading screens aren't that long.
Yeah, they're not.
And it sort of forces you to sit through that
Yeah.
screen at the start.
Yeah.
So, do you guys think we're gonna see like DLC with Luigi, or do you think we're gonna see a new sequel?
I think we're going to see both, but I'm hoping that we're going to see DLC. I want them to release another maybe Kingdom or something. Maybe have Luigi as a playable character.
I would
or
love to see
something.
Luigi
Right?
as DLC.
Even if they did something like I know it's going to sound crazy, but like what they did with New Super Mario Brothers Wii U.
Yes, I
So
would.
Super Luigi Wii U or whatever
Yeah,
it was
Super
called.
Luigi U. Yeah.
Yeah. Like do something like that where they release a little patch to the game, something maybe that's paid.
Yeah.
But you can re-enter these worlds as Luigi and it gives you a whole new set of moves to get.
Yeah. Speaking of Luigi, he's never actually appeared in a 3D Mario game in vein of Odyssey, like 64 or Sunshine. He was just never there.
Outside of Galaxy.
And Galaxy isn't like Galaxy's more linear.
It was, yeah.
It's
Something
not-
you were
it's
saying
not-
exploration-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I imagine there's going to be DLC of some sort,
I
whether
hope
it's
so.
Luigi or not. I'm not entirely sure, but there's DLC for Zelda. There's DLC for Mario Kart. I would be surprised if there is no DLC for this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
What's your favorite costume?
Oh, I've been trying to mix and match.
Oh, speaking of which, I
don't
have this
know.
Club Nintendo calendar that came out in 2016.
Yep.
And if you see here, there's a lot of the costumes that appear for the first time, and I guess it's kind of like a foreshadow.
Yeah.
For the podcast listeners, he's showing the Mario Paint one right
I'm
now.
showing the Mario Artist one. The Santa Claus didn't make it, but I'd love to see DLC.
Yeah.
This Japanese style one, was he in that one?
I think
you-
that might have been a part of the sushi maker one with like the headband.
Yeah, I forget what
Okay,
it's called.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of costumes in here. If you ever have a chance, go look up
They
the
had-
Club
they had
Nintendo.
They had the samurai one. They had
samurai.
the other Japanese outfit, the black kimono.
Yeah.
That was in it. It was really, really well done. Like all the costumes were perfect. I actually am going to start doing the amiibo ones now because I realize how expensive they are coin wise. I'm
Yeah.
like, I might as well just do it
Yeah.
with the amiibo.
Yeah, for me, favorite costume for the longest time, I was rocking underwear with the captain's hat.
Yeah.
that was my early game costume for a while, but now I like the safari outfit.
Yeah.
That's cute,
Yeah. I have been running now with the Mario Maker one. And I
cute too.
switched back to my my original, or the one I really liked the best out of the bunch. Originally was the shorts, the underwear like you,
Yeah.
but with the snorkel.
Oh,
So he's
yeah.
running around in like swim
Yeah.
gear,
Yeah.
which oddly enough worked to get the door open when she said you need to look like you're swimming.
Yeah.
Oh, that actually worked for that. You didn't have to buy the full outfit.
Exactly.
There's a lot of secondary costumes you can use for that.
There's also another thing I noticed. If you put the plain costume on, like the
I hate
pilot
that
costume,
one.
Yeah.
which is fine, but you put that on in the Snow Kingdom, Mario stops shivering.
Yeah, so that's another.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the shorts with the backwards mechanic hat.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
I like his
awesome.
mechanic hat.
You know what? Yeah, I might actually go for that. That's pretty awesome.
But yeah, no, I think the costumes they're all really, really well done, and I
Yeah.
found myself always switching.
Yeah.
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 I love that they went to the detail that when you throw Cappy, it is still like whatever the form the hat is. Because like, you would expect in other games that they wouldn't bother changing the animations. It's just like for the model. So when you throw Cappy, he would turn back into the normal Cap again. It's like you act when he's a snorkel, you're throwing a snorkel. Like granted, it still turns into a Mario hat when you capture something.
Of course, but still, that nice little touch, right?
yeah, like there's just, I think that is the most astounding thing about this game is just the amount of polish, those small touches. You know, Mario's sleeping animation when he's talking about different pastas.
Oh, that still kills me.
His awkward dancing when he's at like the festival when he's
Yeah.
doing that little like arm jig.
Yeah.
You know, even just the thing like after you beat the game that now all the people from all the different planets are all now visiting all the different
Yep.
worlds because
Yep.
everybody's traveling and you're just running into like people from all over the place.
Speaking of the ending, what did you guys think of Princess Peach's actions near the end?
Oh, that was awesome. When she went like just full on bitch mode and started slapping them around. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
And then Mario's patting Bowser on the back. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell, man? You're not
I
supposed
guess
to be friends.
no, they're still like kind of friends. When
Yeah,
you look
they
at like
race
the over,
together.
yeah,
They're
look at the
rivals.
overall. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But he's so menacing at the beginning, and then he's like cowering.
Yeah, well, I mean, once you overtake them,
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you guys, does this convince you that this can beat Zelda in Game of the Year?
Not
or are you
even
guys
close.
still on the?
I'm still gonna say Zelda.
Yeah.
it's Zelda. It's the one that really truly revolutionized that style of exploration, taking out the waypoints, letting you do your own thing, having a world that is completely well put together. Everything was very well thought out.
Yeah.
The expansive, just everything, all the things you could do even on the side. I mean, most of that game I just spent walking around the world, and that's
Yeah, me
saying
too.
something.
Yeah, I agree. I
not-
love both.
And not knowing that I played 140 hours, like you don't feel that time while you're playing it.
It's true.
I think with just between that and the fact that I did feel the time playing Mario Odyssey, it makes Zelda the clear winner in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in both games, Nintendo has clearly looked at the open world game
Yep.
and just turned it on its ear, and it's just like they've revolutionized the open world game in terms of both like what you could do with space, in terms of what you could do with exploration.
Yep.
But yeah, for me, it's just Zelda. It was just so eye opening, and I
Yeah.
just gorged on that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, my prediction actually will be Zelda
Yeah.
winning
Okay.
the Game of the Year, but I still think Mario is my Game of the Year for sure.
Okay. Cool.
Cool.
I was going
Go
to say, if we're wrapping up, then maybe we should talk about our final reviews, our
Oh, yeah,
scores,
let's,
our patented Game & Watch It scoring
Yeah,
system.
let's do
All
it.
right. Wait, am I going first?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel if I'm gonna give it a score, it's probably gonna be like a 10 out of 11.
Fair enough.
Oh, just make it out of 5. The gimmick is we all have different reviews. You don't have to have a different score every time.
No. I'm doing it every time.
Oh, God
it's the
damn it.
It's the poly thing.
Okay, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm giving this game 100%.
Cool. All right.
It's yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's still an A+ game in my mind.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we got a 10 out of 11, 100%, and a plus.
Yeah,
What's
so-
the average?
Well, I guess slightly.
Boop, beep, boop. And on that note, let's wrap it up. Polly, where can they find us?
On YouTube, obviously, if you guys are watching, thank you. If you guys want, if you're ever on the go, we are on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, and Podbay.
Yeah.
If you want to see us on Instagram, we're at Game and Watch It, AND.
Yeah.
We're also on Facebook. If you ever want to reach out to us, let us know what you think. Maybe even give us some criticism. And yeah.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Oh, scene.